All right, ladies and gentlemen, we had a very good chapter of My Hero Academia. It's time for JUJUTSU Kaisen. So let's begin, shall we? Yo, peoples, Kyushu92 here, and welcome back to yet another JUJUTSU Kaisen chapter reaction and review. In the last chapter, we had Maki facing off against Sukuna, and Maki was holding her own. It doesn't surprise me. If you got Heavenly Restriction, you are literally operating on dev mod mode. So, Maki was facing off against Sukuna, and Yuji and Yuta, they got bodied just a little bit. Yuji is suffering repercussions of trying to use reverse curse technique too many times. And Yuta was taken away by Rika while Maki faced up against Sukuna. Now, all of this is going on, and then we cut back to Kinji Akari, whose body gets frozen over, because apparently his domain expansion ended and his jackpot ended, against Uruume. And while Kinji's talking about, like, yeah, we're tough and all this stuff, Uruume says that if you think that you're in a state where you are capable of providing Lord Sukuna with enough entertainment, like the very thing that Uruume said was Sukuna has not. Matter of fact, let me just go ahead and find these words again. Let me just go back to the words echo on March 3rd. Lord Sukuna is capricious. His cursed energy wavers like this when he isn't interested in his opponents. You should be ashamed of yourselves for not presenting a better fight than Satoru Gojo. Even considering the effects of the early fighting, I can see that Lord Sukuna still isn't taking this fight seriously. So, those are scary words to hear. Even after fighting Gojo, he's not taking any fight he's been in seriously because no one is putting up a good enough fight. Hold on. What chat ought to decide? I know how to fix this. Make it blank. And then fill it in. There you guys are. All right, wanted to make sure you guys are good. So that's a concerning thing, hearing that Sukuna has not been serious this entire fight. So let's see what happens in chapter 253. Inhuman Makio Shinjuku Showdown Part 25. As it shows, we get like a color page. We get a color page where it shows Yuji looking at Maki stab Sukuna through the back. Now, mind you, this was earlier on. This isn't currently. So now, we cut to a flashback. Back when everyone was alive. Well, 2 people were alive. Who's the strongest grade 1 sorcerer? And someone is asking the question, who is the strongest grade 1 sorcerer? Mei says, huh? Kusakabe. Then it cuts to Nanami. It depends, but probably Kusakabe. That's my personal opinion. And then Gojo says, I'd guess Kusakabe, but maybe not if we include the big 3 families. And then it cuts to Kusakabe, who goes, someone besides me and Usami. Everyone is saying, like, who's the strongest grade 1 sorcerer? Mei, Nanami, even Gojo is acknowledging that Kusakabe is the strongest grade 1. And Kusakabe is all like, someone besides me and Usami. The dude don't like to get into fights. This man has been avoiding getting into serious fights ever since he's been introduced. And then it cuts to Maki. It cuts back to Maki in the present as she's rushing Sukuna, who still tries to use his cleaving techniques on her, but she's clashing evenly with Sukuna, going one after the other, and it looks like a building gets slashed through. Like, yeah, an entire building gets completely sliced through while they're fighting, and it looks like it falls directly on top of them, at least on the overpass that they're on, and they're both fine, as cars are being thrown up in the air, and behind one car, it shows Sukuna, who proceeds to launch Maki straight towards a building. Now, while she's being launched towards a building, Sukuna has somehow managed to get inside of the building before Maki and is waiting for her around the corner. Now, before that happens, she gets hit with his cleave. And right behind Sukuna is Ino. And then Sukuna just looks over at Ino, and he's just gleaming. There's literally a gleaming particle effect over Sukuna, and he just opens his hand, and then Ino is just hit by cleave as well. And then he gets kicked away by Sukuna, but Sukuna's eyes widen as he's confused as to why Ino didn't use like a cursed tool on him. And then it shows Sukuna being confused after Ino gets launched out of a window going, did he not have his usual curse tool? As he's wondering this, it shows a figure on the floor above him. And it's Kusakabe, who brings down that same curse tool. The curse tool of Nanami, no less. You know, the one where if you hit it at the exact angle in the exact moment, then it does twice as much damage. And Sukuna immediately puts up his guard as Kusakabe is using Nanami's cursed tool. And then Kusakabe thinks, Sukuna noticed. And then he gets slammed away by Sukuna as Maki rushes in. And while Kusakabe is, like recovering, Maki rushes past him as Sukuna bursts through a wall towards Maki. And while that's going on, I'm trying to figure out what's technically going on right now. Because it looks like a switch has been flipped. Like Maki is in the air. And then I can't tell what this is. Is this a light switch? This looks like a light switch next to a fuse box. I'm trying to understand what this particular panel is. Someone, if you know, someone please explain what this is. I think it's because they're on Oh, I get it. They're right behind a pillar. Okay, it was weird the way it was situated. The panels were weird, but I'm just now seeing that one of the pillars that Sukuna and Maki they're on the adjacent sides of a pillar, and they're both gearing up to attack each other. They're meeting head to head with each other, but they're in between pillars right in between them. So I get it now. And it shows Sukuna. I can't tell if he's the one who got slammed away or if he's the one who knocked the pillar itself away. I think he's the one that got knocked away because he's bleeding. But it shows him using cleave all over the place. Well, not cleave, but dismantle all over the place while Maki's dodging him. And she's thinking, if this fight drags on, another problem will come up even if Yuta survives. I gotta stay here and stand firm. After Satoru Gojo's death, Hajime Kashimo, Hiromi Higuruma, and Yuta Okotsu each fought Sukuna with exceptional talent. But what piqued Sukuna's interest the most was the one who had forsaken Jujutsu, Maki Zenin and her heavenly restriction. The king of curses was elated by this reality, because I don't think Sukuna's ever faced an individual who has heavenly restriction. Or at least often enough. Everyone he's always faced has always been Jujutsu sorcerers, but I don't think he's faced enough heavenly restriction users for it to be something he's used to. So this might be one of the very few times where he's actually been able to face someone who didn't just rely on Jujutsu, but someone who's just devoid of Jujutsu. So Uroume did bring up that Sukuna was not fighting seriously because no one was bringing him a fight comparable to that of Gojo. But now we have Sukuna, who is very, very interested in this fight because this is a person he hasn't fought that much, a heavenly restriction user. So I guess we've reached that moment. But then Maki, with her superior strength, just after Sukuna has basically... Well, actually, I don't even think it was Sukuna who cut through the pillars. I think it was Maki who cut through the pillars, and then proceeds to kick one of these blocks directly at Sukuna. And it shows Sukuna right there, like his silhouette, like his shadow, as these cubes are flying towards him. And then in the next panel, he is just gone. No sound effect, no visual effect. He is just there. Next panel, he's just gone while the cubes just slightly move a little bit further in the panel. He's just gone in an instant. And then he's right there in front of Maki grabbing her face and proceeds to throw her outside of the building. She isn't some punk like the boy. She has carved away everything to become a true void. And then it shows Maki, who's there wide-eyed as Sukuna screams out, in the end, Jujutsu is about nothing but skin and blood. But your body is bone and marrow, right? Do you get what that means? Your very existence denies Jujutsu! And then he just continues to clash with Maki. Which is worth turning into strength, Jujutsu or flesh? Let's settle that question with this fight. Has he stopped using reverse curse technique to heal? This is the first time that anyone has given me something to prove! And it shows Sukuna as energy forms around his hand, and he hits Maki with Black Flash. Maki has become that person that Sukuna decides that he wants to get serious with. Because when's the last time we seen Sukuna use Black Flash? But he hits Maki with Black Flash, and we see the sparks, we see the lightning from this impact. And she gets sent flying far. It shows the guardrails. It shows the guardrails where Maki was impacted, and then it shows like the carved out portion of the ground where Maki just got sent flying. And then the only person left standing, watching all of this, is Kusakabe. Huh? No way. Am I the last one? What about Itadori and Choso? And I doubt Mei will show up. Oh, come on! If we had no chance of victory, I could have retreated early. But at this point, I have to fight. I have to fight, right? So, am I going to fight Sukuna? As it shows Sukuna wiping just the blood from his face as he looks back up at Kusakabe, who starts to unsheath his sword and looks very, very tense because you know this Joker don't like being in any major fights against any really strong opponents. This dude has been avoiding major fights this whole time. You know, one-on-one specifically. Like, he's taking pot shots here and there. But just strictly one-on-one where he has no backup, he's been avoiding that entirely. Because remember when he was first introduced and we saw him and he was talking with Panda, and he was talking like, yeah, we need to look out for these people over here. Trying to avoid going down in the basement with all the cursed spirits and where all the big figures of the Shibuya incident were. He's been avoiding that this entire time. Now, Kusakabe's in a situation where he has no choice. Oh, sorry. The playback image got me again. I thought my chat wasn't up again, but yeah. Kusakabe's in a situation right now, and that's the end of the chapter, and we're going on break. We're going on break for Jujutsu, so no Jujutsu chapter to next week. But Kusakabe, who we get introduced to in this chapter, where it says like, where someone's asking the question, who's the strongest grade 1 sorcerer? And everyone, including Gojo, is saying that it's Kusakabe. And Kusakabe is like trying to defer that sort of attention off of himself. So now, after seeing Maki hold her own against Sukuna, but still get knocked away from Sukuna, who decided to take the fight a little bit more seriously because he doesn't fight many Heavenly Restriction users. He uses Black Flash, knocks her away, and now the only person left standing to face against Sukuna is Kusakabe. Yuta's not there because he's been grievously injured. That's the reason why Rika took him away. Yuji is, suffering the after effects of trying to use reverse curse technique too often, and that's going on with him. Maki has just been punched away using Black Flash, with Sukuna using Black Flash, and she's been knocked away. Don't know how long she's going to be out. So now the only person left is Kusakabe. Even before Sukuna went on a rampage, he was avoiding fights with Geto's henchmen. Yeah, so he could have had handled Sukuna during the Shibuya arc. I mean, the dude does not like getting into fights. Matter of fact, let's bring up Kusakabe in Jujutsu. Atsuya Kusakabe. And the thing about his abilities is that he has great cursed energy and he has anti-domain techniques, but we don't actually see him having like an innate cursed technique. He's just using his sword. That's it. Overall skill, despite not possessing, he doesn't have an innate technique. Everyone who's faced off against Sukuna has had an innate technique, except for Yuji, who's just basically superhuman. But Kusakabe is basically, he doesn't have an innate technique of his own style of jujutsu of his own. He's just a swordsman. That's it. He's just a swordsman. Despite not possessing an innate technique, Kusakabe is a respected Grade 1 sorcerer and a master swordsman of the new Shadow style. Meimei regarded Kusakabe as the only sorcerer of his grade to make that rank without an innate technique. Let me say that again. This man made Grade 1 sorcerer just purely based off of his own swordsmanship. Kusakabe openly admits on several occasions he has no chance of defeating a special grade and avoids them at all costs. However, he is fully confident he can defeat other adversaries, such as the curse user Toshihisa Neji, and Manami Suda, who he considered below his level. While several Jujutsu sorcerers in training were fighting to get Prison Realm from Sudogeto, Kusakabe intervened just in time to save the lives of all of his allies. Sudogeto even commented on Kusakabe's knowledge on New Shadow style, seemingly out of respect for his skill. And then, of course, he's a master swordsman. Kusakabe's swordplay is his main weapon in battle, relying heavily on physical prowess. In combination with the swordsmanship techniques of the new Shadow, he has showcased high proficiency in wielding his blade. Using Bato sword drawing, Kusakabe made short work of 3 cursed user henchmen in an instant. And of course, he has great cursed energy. As a Grade 1 sorcerer, Kusakabe possesses respectable levels of cursed energy. To compensate for his lack of an innate technique, Kusakabe has mastered the new Shadow style. This requires finely controlled cursed energy applications, such as casting Simple Domain and coating his katana's blade with cursed energy. Kusakabe also has a keen sense for judging his opponent's strength, able to recognize someone on his level from a special grade in an instant. And then, of course, we have his anti-domain techniques, which is New Shadow style Simple Domain, and then he has his Bato sword drawing, and then he has his Evening Moon sword drawing, which we've never fully seen because it was interrupted before he could actually perform it. And this was back in chapter 114. That's when he used Evening Moon sword drawing, but we never got to see what that was entirely. So, Kusakabe is so dead. Look. I don't know. You never know. Can I do Chainsaw Man? Unfortunately, it's not a series that I will cover on my channel because 1, I've already been reading it, Clef, and 2, it just seems like I don't read a lot of vulgar stuff. There's a lot of vulgar things in there that I myself would not say, so it's not something that I would cover on my channel because of those reasons, but also because I've been reading it already and I'm way past the point of being able to, do it as a series even if I wanted to. So unfortunately, no, I can't cover. I won't be covering Chainsaw Man because of those extra reasons. Hitachi, first of all, it's good to see you, but also I feel like it's too soon to say that Kusakabe is just straight up dead yet. How many times have we thought like, oh, this moment is about to happen officially, it's about to be the end of this, and then something happens. And Jujutsu is that story where do not think that someone is guaranteed to die and stay dead, or just don't have any expectations of things seeming like, oh, this person's gonna die instantly, or they're gonna live, or they're gonna succeed, because this story switches up so many things on the fly in a moment's notice that you just can't stick to one thought process of like, oh, this person's dead, or he's gonna die, or they're gonna die, or this or that or that or this. This is just that type of story where it's not that cut and dry. But let's go over what happened in this chapter. Maki really did hold her own against Sukuna And even though Urume said that Sukuna isn't giving it his all because no one's been able to give him like a serious fight. It wasn't until he started fighting Maki where he was all like, this is very interesting. Like, it literally says, after Satoru Gojo's death, Hajime Kashimo, Hiromi Higuruma, and Yuta Okotsu each fought Sukuna with exceptional talent. But the way this is put in, with exceptional talent, but what piqued Sukuna's interest the most was the one who had forsaken Jujutsu, Maki Zenin, and her heavenly restriction. The King of Curses was elated by this reality, because as far as Sukuna knows, he's always faced off against Jujutsu sorcerers. He's always faced off against Jujutsu techniques, no matter who they were, whether they came in squads or one person at a time. He's so used to fighting a person who just uses Jujutsu. So used to it. So now he's facing off against an individual who has basically forsaken Jujutsu. Matter of fact, let me see if they updated the page, because I want to go over it. I want to go over if they got a summary, because I like it when they don't. They haven't updated it yet. Dang it! They haven't updated it yet. I was kind of hoping for them to have like a brand new thing, but oh well, it's fine. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. I can explain everything that I need to just based off of what I've seen. For as far as Sukuna knows, he has not encountered too many people with heavenly restriction. Not as much as someone as determined as Maki. Because we've seen that Maki is just steadfast into her convictions, especially after she reached that Toji Fushiguro status. She's been so serious about this whole fight, and she has fought 100%. Like, she has not wavered at all. So for Sukuna to face off against an individual who has not only forsaken the very aspects of Jujutsu to gain a body that is basically beyond superhuman, this is something new to him, or something that he is not used to encountering. So this required that he use Black Flash on Maki in order to knock her away and get her out of the fight. And we don't see Maki get up from this, because we don't even see Maki. She gets punched, and then she's just gone. And she gets who knows how far away Sukuna managed to land a hit on her. Speaking of Sukuna, when's the last time he was able to use Black Flash? I was just wondering. How many times he's been able to use Black Flash? Wasn't he using that against his fight with Gojo? Because it doesn't seem like it was something he was using a whole lot. Because is this the first time he's used Black Flash? That's what I'm wondering. This is the first time that Sukuna has used Black Flash. I don't know. But give me a sec. Family just got home with food. Let me at least help them bring that in, and then I'll finish what I need to say for this chapter, and then we'll call it a session. Give me a moment, guys. I thank you for your patience. Thank you. Thank you. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Could be wrong, but I think this is the first time he's ever used Black Flash in the story. Yeah, I don't think he didn't even use Black Flash. I don't think he's even used Black Flash against Gojo. Yeah, I don't think Sukuna has ever used Black Flash at all until this one moment. Because if it was something he could do, it would be listed here in all of his feats and capabilities, but it's not here. It's not listed with his capabilities. So, this is the first time we have Sukuna using Black Flash in the story. Now, the fact that he brought out Black Flash in order to take down Maki is significant because Sukuna does not believe in going all out unless someone piques his interest. So it just shows that Maki has pushed him to the point where it's all like, let's pursue this a little bit further. And what's truly scary is that Sukuna, I really don't think he's even using the maximum of his power right now. Because when Maki's getting thrown through these buildings, and then you see Sukuna already inside the building, ready to take on Maki again. And then, here's the thing, the moment Sukuna got interested in fighting Maki, that's when he went beyond the speed we've ever seen him. See, Maki sliced through the pillars inside of this parking garage, and she kicks him towards him. But the moment he got interested and said, like, okay, I'm interested in fighting you, that's when Sukuna decided, I'm going to go faster than I've ever gone before. Or actually, I'm going to crank up my speed. Because I've been fighting you guys with relatively low speed. At least speed that you can barely keep up with. Now, I'm going to move at a speed where you can't keep up with because you got me that interested. Sorry, I couldn't make MHA. Ginger, you're fine. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Whether you can make it, if you're able to make it to stuff that I do or you're not able to make it, don't feel bad about it. You're fine. But it just shows you that Sukuna really has not been taking this fight seriously when he's able to blitz Maki, of all people. Now, the significance about that is that Maki faced off against Naoya Zenin, where he turned into a cursed spirit and then became like this subsonic speed level cursed spirit that Maki was still able to easily avoid. Now she's facing off against Sukuna, and since Sukuna was interested in fighting her, he decides, you know what? Time to crank up at least 5% speed now, and proceeds to not only blitz Maki, but also throw her out of a building, completely shocking Maki. Screaming out, in the end, Jujutsu is about nothing but skin and blood, but your body is bone and marrow, right? Do you get what that means? Your very existence denies Jujutsu. Let's settle this question with this fight. Which is worth turning into strength, Jujutsu or flesh? And Sukuna is no longer using reverse curse technique because he is forcibly allowing Maki to land hits on him just for him to grab the blade and then punch her away with Black Flash. This is the first time that anyone has given me something to prove. This is the first time that Sukuna is actually saying, this is the first fight I've been in where I need to prove that Jujutsu is stronger than flesh. This is the first fight I've been in where I need to prove that Jujutsu is the strongest there is. See, he probably had a very entertaining fight with Satoru Gojo. But it's this fight with Maki where it's all like, I gotta prove that Jujutsu stands above all else. And that's when he uses Black Flash, just out of nowhere. I bit my tongue. But I'm good, though. So that's where we're at right now. And then we have Kusakabe, who's reluctantly looking like he does not want to fight Sukuna at all because he sees just how strong Sukuna is after knocking away Maki. Sorry, background noise. So we're at a moment right now where Kusakabe is facing off against Sukuna. And you know Sukuna, he's not going to give his all unless the opponent is capable of, matching him or even surprising him even. He just knocked away Maki after saying, let's see which is stronger, jujutsu or flesh. And he just knocks away Maki. Who's to say that that's the end of their fight, or is he just waiting for her to get back up? If that's not the case, then it means that Sukuna's bored again. So we're just gonna have to see. But we are on break for Jujutsu after this chapter. And it makes me curious as to why everyone kept saying that even though he's not a special grade sorcerer, he's the strongest grade 1 sorcerer. And this is purely based off of his swordsmanship. So even though Kusakabe is reluctant to fight, I still can't wait to see him fight. And I hope we get to see that evening moon drawing sword technique. That's what it was called, right? Evening moon drawing sword or drawing blade. That technique that he got interrupted from using. I hope we get to see that. And maybe see just what all Kusakabe can do when he's pushed to the brink. Because this dude is reluctant to fight, but we're in a moment right now where you can't be reluctant to fight when the King of Curses is involved. So we're just going to have to wait a whole week to see if Kusakabe has what it takes to take on Sukuna until someone, jumps in to help him out, or if Kusakabe can actually surprise us with a level of strength we haven't seen from him before. Only way to find out is when we get the next chapter. But I'm done for today, ladies and gentlemen. My nose is tickling me right now, and I also got food as well. The man! Hi! You're coming in on literally me giving my outro. Overall, I enjoy... Halster, it's good to see you. I liked this chapter, especially with Sukuna actually starting to get serious and just seeing that this man is on a whole nother level. Like, he literally just gave us a glimpse. He literally just gave us a glimpse of his power. Love your videos? Well, thank you. As long as you're enjoying them, then I'm doing my job. I appreciate the love. I really appreciate the love. Sukuna hit a black flash. I'm scared. Yeah, I think everyone should be scared. Halster, you're overlooking the fact that this man decided I'm going to blitz Maki before she can even react. After seeing that, hey, this is a person with heavenly restriction. I am going to... Maybe it's time I crank this up a notch. And this man is able to disappear from in place after Maki kicked these gigantic slabs of... Yeah, family, I forgot my sauces, and my family, my sister brought them in to me. But we're in a state where Sukuna has just showcased just a small glimpse of that he still hasn't been taking any of these fights we've seen recently seriously. Like, do you realize what that means? But I don't want to keep you for too long considering you're about to end. Halster, it's fine. I don't mind going on just a little bit, like a couple seconds longer, because my food is still hot. But think about this. When you kick solid concrete at a speed that no human person should be able to dodge, and they're being launched at you, and you're Sukuna, and then you are just gone. You're sitting there, and the blocks are flying towards you, and then in the very next panel, you are nowhere to be seen, and it only looks like the blocks have moved slightly forward a little bit. You are operating on some Quicksilver slow-mo right now, which means that you are crazy fast. Crazy fast. So that just puts back into perspective what Uraume was saying this whole time. Sukuna has not been taking anything seriously up until this one moment, and that's when he displays, hey, I can use Black Flash, and then knocks away the one person that was actually able to give him an honest fight. But overall, good chapter. Looking forward to the next one once we're done with the break. I feel like the next chapter we get will probably be right after my birthday, because my birthday is next Saturday. Not this upcoming Saturday, but next Saturday. So the following chapters that come out will be... Actually, the following chapters that come out will be that preceding Sunday as well. So I'm looking forward to it. But I'm done for today, ladies and gentlemen. To everyone, the man, Halster, Ogata-san, everyone Hitachi, everyone who showed up, thank you. Thank you for your time. I really hope you enjoyed my little reaction to the latest chapter of Jujutsu. To everyone here, both new and veterans alike, all I can say to you is, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples!